Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a plan with me. It is August the 29th, 2024, and I am just doing a slight plan but also a little catch up in all of my notebooks. So I'm using the Hobonichi Weeks, the Dollar Tree notebook, as well as a Walmart planner that I got. And before we even get started, I am apologizing for the angle. I'm just looking at this and I'm seeing that it is slightly slanted. It's like off a little. So I do apologize for that. The first one I'm starting with is the Walmart planner. This is my first week in it. And I don't have anything to say about it just yet. What I can say is my water needs to definitely get better. As you can see at the top, hydrating was one of my major goals for this week and in general, but everything is a work in progress. What I'm doing now is just adding in stickers. I was really excited today because if you've watched my last video, then you know I kind of mentioned in there that I switched from Apple to Android, so I have a new phone, which required me to get a new watch as well. And I absolutely love this watch. It started the workout for me. Well, not started it like that, but it automatically recorded. And that's what happened one day last week. I had like an auto workout, I guess you can say, because it was just going by my movement. And today I did quite a bit of movement going up and down the stairs. Me and my mom went grocery shopping, and I brought her groceries in to her house, and then of course I had to do it to mine. So it was a lot of up and down the stairs. My knees weren't happy, but I was happy to get some in. I could definitely do better with the water, as this was supposed to be my focus for this week. I don't feel like I did a good job at focusing, but I'm just trying to keep in my head that it's always next week. I'm also really excited that I'm finally getting a chance to use the workout stickers. So I have one book, and that's what you see now, the Happy Planner sticker book that is all for fitness. And you know how other sticker collections come with a few like weight stickers, like lifting weight stickers. So I'm just happy that I'm able to use it. This week I really enjoyed using this is the Dollar Tree notebook. I'm not a time blocking person, but I will admit that it's good to see what did I actually do in a day. So like now, today is Thursday and it was my first day off. So when I look at like a list of things that I didn't really get done, it allows me to be a little bit more gentle with myself, because I'm looking at my schedule and what I did for the day. And especially on days that I work, a good chunk of me being up and just out and about is pretty much about work. So if I'm not doing it before, then that means I'm doing it when I get out for work. And I get out for work at 10, depending on what days. So it's not really a lot of time to do anything. So that is something that I've realized that with doing these last few days, with logging my time, I'm able to see like where exactly my time is going, which in turns kind of also let me look at my routine or lack thereof. So I'm happy to do this. I actually enjoyed a blank page. I thought I was going to have a problem with it and feel intimidated, but I'm really happy that I wasn't, and I feel I did well with the page. Now, I will probably continue in this in September. I think I'm just going to try to decorate it, maybe print out some stuff to add in with this to make it look a little better, but we shall see. Per our usual, I know I normally do some sort of talk with you all while I plan, so definitely plan with me if you have your notebook by you, or chime in the comments. I would love to hear. I always love to hear when people comment. I like to like see different views or just what people are doing within their planners or whatever we're talking about. But I still kind of thinking and talking about rest. And I know my last video where I was actually talking in it, I brought up rest and how I don't get enough of it. And I feel now that school started back, I feel completely wiped out. The buses for my kids are coming a lot earlier, which requires me to get up earlier. And trying to get up, especially these kids when they don't want to get up, and kind of fighting against the grain, it can be very difficult. And like I have joint issues, so my hands sometimes are not necessarily ready to start working and getting things together. So what I'm trying to start implementing now is waking my kids up slightly earlier, not like a half an hour earlier, but just 10 or 15 minutes to give them a little time to adjust, whether that's to like completely wake up, to get their mind right, just like I am. So like when I get up in the morning, unless I'm running late, before I get out of bed, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, what do I have today? Like what task is ahead of me today? So I think it's good for them to get like that moment as well, to gather themselves and, get in the mood of how they feel. And that's one thing I think, some people, whether they work with kids or adolescents or parents, sometimes it's just that need to do things right then and there. But I think giving anyone time to process or get prepared for something is good. So I am still working on sleep. I do kind of want to talk about, like, in terms of like rest, obligations. And sometimes our obligations to others or just our interaction with others can be challenging when we're in need of rest. And I recently came across that with one of my friends, and just being able to convey that I need rest and I'm not able to hang out is important. And I guess I'm sounding like this talking about it because it always amazes me how people can be very understanding of themselves and whatever they're going through and when they need time, but when it's vice versa, they don't understand. And I think sometimes it's partly because of how we perform or interact with others. I can remember my grandmother saying all while I was growing up, how you start a relationship is how you're going to end it. And at first I never understood what she meant by that, but she would always say, how you start is how you're going to end. You can't like change the game in the middle. Like people are not, basically people are not up for changing. And sometimes it's good going into a relationship, whether it's friendship, employment, anything, with a set of boundaries and being comfortable with saying those boundaries. Because I'm an introvert, so I need to recharge to get myself back right, and I have not been able to recharge in a while. And I feel like, aside from what I do and, at work, I'm really not in the mood to see people. And a lot of people don't understand that, especially when you're just going through in general. So I would encourage you all to first revisit or reevaluate or start to evaluate your own boundaries and how you want them to play out with others. And sometimes it's best even going into a new job or a new position and saying that, hey, when I'm not at work, my time with my family is my time, because this is how I recharge. This is how I'm able to be the person that I am and how I show up at work when I get time with my family. So don't expect me to answer my emails when I'm not at work. And I think that it's very important. It can be very uncomfortable to do it, but I think it's very important because it draws that line and no one feels differently. No one feels obligated to do something, and it's a mutual understanding. And I think that's the same way with rest. Like being able to, and I talked to quite a few people at my job who struggle with taking on so much or doing so much. And just the act of delegating is so scary until they would rather do it all themselves. So, like, I'm learning, how to tell people, like, no, I need to rest. I'm not going to force myself to go out. I'm not going to force myself to be on the phone if my mental capacity is not there. Like, I'm just doing it for that person, and again, putting myself on a back burner. So I would encourage you all to evaluate your rest and how it's connected to your obligations, especially obligations that you're choosing that's not necessarily priority or mandatory. So being able to carve out time even for our responsibilities. So we all have responsibilities, and it's our responsibility to do them. But being able to say, okay, on this day, this is when I do this. So like now, on Thursdays, I try to make Thursdays my day that I go to the mailbox. That way I'm not randomly going on various days and it's kind of all over the place and not in order. So that's how I'm trying to approach having a day of rest, or setting aside hours and being able to say, okay, I've worked, like even on my off day, like I've done the errands, I've did this and that, and now, the last 4 hours before bed is mine, or the last 4 hours before bed is nothing but doing things that is calming and bringing peace to me somehow. So I would encourage you to do it, because sometimes, our rest or lack thereof is tied to our obligations, and some of which we signed up for that's not necessarily priority. So being able to communicate properly to those that are around us, especially those that affect us, our rest is so important, and it also models for everyone else. Okay, maybe this is what I should do in my life. Maybe this is how I need to get rest. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope your week